Oh, I forgot to do plenty of things. I forgot to do too many things. Hopefully that should be good. Some of this will not be good though, I know that much. Okay. Did I... it's so funny that you can... It gets me. It gets me sometimes. When I know that I can, like, do that funny thing. Give me a second to make sure I'm, connected. I've really got to log in again. I hate Restream's stupidity. I had to do like 8 captures in a row. Like because I did them too quickly or something like that. I don't know. Didn't do a capture that time. It's a bit ridiculous. Okay, I think that's actually streaming through. It's just weird when it's like not. I didn't know. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that that Trovo had ads. Like since when? And where's my cut? Nowhere. Nobody watches anybody on Trovo. And if they do, then they're not watching me. Sure as hell ain't watching me. I think I gotta kill a couple tabs. Yeah, those should be good. Just to make certain. I only trimmed away at my RAM usage. Okay, think that should be good, and think I should just be able to hop right in then. Game. Yeah, see, that would be nice, having the funny, what do you call it? Secondary PC thing that I was talking about, thinking about moving things around. I tinker way too much. I waste like so much time just tinkering around with stuff. It's like I don't really have to. I'm a bit brain dead today. Okay, yep. Case in point. Man, I've just been... I did a little bit too much Blender today, as usual. And that's, you know, that's just the whoops. That's the way things are. But... yeah, I was dealing with just nodes like crazy. Those bees are so stupid. Why they gotta be that way? Why they gotta be that way? I may have to turn on... It's so unfortunate with just having like all 3 of these monitors. No, I've technically got 5 monitors going right now, and like it's still not considered enough light in the room. Can you not with this attack? Oh, spacing. You gotta watch those attacks. Yeah, because it's definitely stressful, like, dealing with, I mean, loads of hardware and technical issues and all sorts of things just back to back, like, you know, figuring things out in Blender that I've never really learned before. I was just trying to make sure I was safe from the funny. Yeah, figuring all of that out, And having to focus on that really hard, I think really just builds up the pressure in my brain. Because it's like, goodness, it can be good stress, but obviously it's not always the case. Like, I just did so much learning that it's like I figured out procedural texturing and goodness, it's just gonna wall me out like that. Procedural texturing and procedural geometry nodes, procedural modeling, like at the same time. I hate that move. I really don't appreciate like any of these moves really, but especially not that one. Yeah, working on a million PCs. Like, I've just dipped into every single system I own. Why did you have to land there? Yeah, it's wild. Wishing I had less useless hardware and more useful hardware. Which, I mean, who wouldn't want that? Of course. Because it's like I've got two 3060s and they don't render as much as one 3090 does. Yeah, I've got two 3060s. I don't know, I was thinking that I had more for a moment. I just wish it was easier to, like, liquidate them, even not for a profit. Because even to try and profit off of a PC, like full build, like that can be pretty rough as well. See, I was trying to be a little patient, but only so much you can do with all the bees. The bees. Zoinks. I mean, Adderall is fantastic, but it is kind of wild, you know, having so many things that I'm doing at the same, and learning and reevaluating and everything at the same time, just like so many things at the same time. Whereas like before, go back over a year ago, and it was like I didn't have enough frames to react to that, buddy. It was literally not possible. Too fast of an attack. I didn't have iframes yet. Sure wish I did. Yeah, it's just interesting having like a billion things that I'm trying to do. Where it's like I no longer have to. That was just strange spacing. Like, it's not like, oh, I've got a billion ideas and I've made no time to actually work on them, because anytime I want to try working on them, I just, like, don't have the piss. Don't have the piss. Haven't got the motivation to like, open up a program and start working on something, especially when I when I have to learn new things, where it's not laziness, but it gets you in the same place effectively as laziness. Why did you have to teleport exactly where I was? Unkind. Like, it's kind of the same thing as laziness. The same end result, but totally different emotional situation, and therefore totally... If I didn't hesitate, I would have been fine. Totally different, medicine, literally. So I don't know if you can really cure laziness. I've always been... Really? I've always been, like, biologically ambitious. But, my ambition was always too great for my time, where it's like, if I had infinite time, then, like, I'd be able to figure things out, or whatever. But it's like, you know, realistically, what... Like, if I could just infinitely do something, like, in the hyperbolic time chamber, like... Wait, can they die? This has been a pretty good attempt. Don't want to jinx myself, of course. Ugh. Oh! I was just barely in the range of that. I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like what your idea for the solution wouldn't really even necessarily be a solution. Like, if I go in the hyperbolic time chamber back then, completely unmedicated, and why? Like, I'm still gonna be so super low low motivation. So it's like, what am I gonna spend most of my time doing? Well, clearly it's gonna be the stuff that costs the smallest amount of... The stuff that has the highest dopamine profit margin. That's just impossible, buddy. It's these stupid bees. Little bee buddies. Like, it's a lot easier to get satisfaction out of, what's the word? Piss off. It's a lot easier to get satisfaction out of, like... I should be saying buzz off. Out of, like, I mean, playing games, watching things, it's like way easier to get satisfaction out of that, because it requires like literally no initial dopamine investment. So your profit margins are really high. You can get tons of dopamine out of that. But I just found myself never getting any work done, never learning anything, never really progressing at all. And it's like, well, maybe if I, that was good. Oh, I love iframes. Oh. Of course. Of course. It's a rough one. It's like I've gotten more done in the past couple months than I have in, goodness sake, than I have in like many years. just because it's so much easier to focus and to rein in on stuff. Thought so. And you know, it's nice because a lot of it just ends up coming naturally. So it's obviously a lot more convenient, I suppose. Not enough frames. Not enough frames as usual. Come on. Come on, buddy. Oi! So silly. I was not... Yeah, it's like in the hyperbolic time chamber that you want so badly, like, how much time would you actually spend, getting things done, especially considering that it's all guilt-free. It's like, well, I don't actually have to worry about, my lack of productivity because I've got all the time in the world. Time to kill.
We got time to kill.
Oh, why did he go that direction? I couldn't even see him because of the stuff in the air. The pollen. I was going to say cum, which is technically the same thing. Just from a different animal kingdom. Not a different animal kingdom. Ridiculous. Different kingdom, period. That was the worst spacing that I could possibly have done. It's like you'd have just thousands of hours clocked in on doing nothing whatsoever. Because it's easier to do, and it's like, well, I've got infinite time, so I'm just going to do that, and then you'd end up like just aging a bajillion years. So it'd be wild. It'd be super easy to unground yourself. Like you'd end up being like Groundhog Day situation where it's just like it'd be hard to leave that situation. You just use it to cheat constantly, which would be amazing for several reasons, but yup. Just concentrating. Oh! I was gonna put the move in, but again, he goes way too quickly. Why'd you have to do another one? Ooh, that was interesting. Ooh, scary. Oh, I knew I should have inputted it just a moment earlier than that. I was doing pretty well with that, though. Hey. I knew I was too close to spend too much time. Why do you have to do this attack so early? Oh, why did he decide to just stop there? I'm definitely kind of desynced from his activities. Such a great move to start out with. It really isn't a very good telegraph, is it? Way too fast. Piss off. Ugh. I can't input that move quick enough. If I know that it's coming like that, then I can't just, like, whip it out after he actually does it. Okay, that was kind of lucky. That was... I thought I was spaced properly. Oh, yeah. Wish I could get some stuff out of him. He just stands too tall. Right now he's not. Oh! Piss off. Are you watching? What does that even mean? As in, like, the bee, like, as in them? Is it also aware? Like, I didn't think this thing was intelligent enough. I mean, you can be intelligent, but, kind of I don't know, destined for a different purpose, I suppose. I'm thinking of QT1. That was enough frames, buddy. He did that like 1 frame earlier or something like that. Something bogus. Come on. Come on. I was gonna dash. I literally triggered right after Sag. So I think, you know, being real busy is good in many ways, but it makes it easy to get burnt out, obviously. Oh, come on! You stupid, I'm reminded of, what's it called? In Calvin and Hobbes, Calvin's dad, enjoys mountain biking, And it's like there's an entire panel, an entire full page comic of him I hate it so much. There's an entire full page comic of him, like, no dialogue, riding his mountain bike, like, doing maintenance on the tires and all that. Piss off. And it was like he, what was it? He ends up, like, having to fix up his bike that was broken, and that's, like, how it starts out. And I just did that to be safe. But you were not supposed to do that. That's that. Such a jerk. that stupid bee. He ends up, like, crashing his bike down in the ravine, getting himself hurt, and wrecking his bike once more. Just, you know, right in a row. And he ends off, like, he's back at it again, fixing his bike, and he's like, the only thing... It's like the only thing you have to combat, having like a crappy career is having a hobby that's even worse. Stupid knockback. Sometimes that's how it is, like, streaming and whatnot. It's just like, the hobby is worse than the actual job. And doesn't even make money. Piss off. Like, I think there's stuff that, in mountain biking, it comes with the territory that you're gonna, like, maybe fix, or maybe crash, and maybe break your stuff. Oh, come off it. But it makes sense that, you don't plan on getting fixed, but you account, you don't plan on breaking things, but you account for it. Where sometimes, like with streaming or just games in general, I suppose, you know, lots of people use games as a form of escapism. I've had the dash coming out. Ugh. But it's like, lots of the times you end up talking about games where you're like, oh yeah, I'm working on this, and it's like, well, if it's work, then it's like, you know, it's not really supposed to be work, is the idea, but it's funny the way that we think about it, which I've rambled about before, but in the sense that it's like, a lot of the stuff I've done, content creation-wise, is stuff that would, you know, it's already the career I want to go into anyway, so it's useful either way. You know, getting more experience, learning more skills, potentially getting more, portfolio pieces that I can put up. Oh, the misinput. The misinput, because there was a funny one, because it knocked him down with the hitbox and brought him back up with the second hitbox. That's not really what normally happens. Oh, come off it. I'm just... Goodness. I have a feeling that 8 is not correct. It's not already 8. I've only been live for 30 minutes. Maybe I'll just leave my my ringer on. And then maybe I'll have noises that'll be annoying, but whatever. Like, the thing that sort of comes with the territory is that just being an online personality at all is that there are going to be, you know, it's freedom of speech. It comes with the territory that there are going to be people who oppose you for whatever reason. And I've gotten less and less bothered with that because I haven't had to deal with it very much for a while. You know, it's already best not to spend too much... Oh, wow, I did it? I actually did it? Get out of here. Finally. Broken shell of an empty god. Yes, indeed. Beautiful. Glad I can check that off the list. Does this guy just take loads of knockback as a general rule? Oh, piss. Oh, hi. Wait. Oh. I was like, do I not get that? Come on. Damage boosted and everything. It comes with the territory that people are gonna say things to get under your skin. People are gonna be annoying. I mean, dealing with other, just communicating with other beings in general. Goodness, that was wow. Some really great performance here. Goodness. Clearly, I've got more to learn to do with spacing on this fight, and it shall be done. Communicating with any intelligent or unintelligent being comes with the territory of certain frustrations. Obviously, like that's just the way that it is. But there's some of that... I swear I didn't even see him. Oh. I should have known he was gonna do that. There's certain things that obviously it's, in a philosophical sense, where there's a sort of a violation of decorum, I suppose. There's always certain things that people can say that's outside of the Overton window, I suppose, where... Oi. There we go. I have a feeling this last one's going to be a bit more difficult. It's got a dream fight though, so definitely not too bad. It's the next one that's bad. It's just... you assume... when you're discussing anything with anybody, that the parts where somebody takes offense is the parts where there is a disagreement. Something that you believe and something that they believe is in conflict. There's an overlap. They're diametrically opposed. Okay. Okay, buddy. Or, I don't know, people just saying things to be dickish, I suppose. Like, there's sort of like, you know, speaking the truth when truth is, offensive to some. Even sort of in situations where it's like, spacing. Like, I think it's just, in general, it's right to speak the truth. Like, honesty is the best policy type of thing. It's just harder to be truthful. Goodness sake, it's hard to be truthful in, like, every single situation. So there's some times where people are lashing out where because they disagree and that they assume that your disagreements are serious due to diametric opposition. Oh, spacing. What in the spacing? That was weird, because I barely missed him, the iframes. Like, it looked more like I missed him fully, but that was one of the things where the iframes was actually much closer than it, goodness sake, than it normally is. Why doesn't he have soul? It's cringe. Oh, you can actually knock him up. Oh, I forgot he has that move. Ugh. You assume when someone's speaking with you that they mean what they say. I think one of those violations, just in general, is when I suppose they say something but goodness. When someone says something intentionally inflammatory or just trying to piss you off, just because they're lashing out, just because they're frustrated that you're speaking in opposition to them. Not the best positioning for this, buddy. He had to do that there. Like, there's something uniquely frustrating about somebody saying something ridiculous just to say it. Like, just because they only want to exist in opposition to you and not because they actually believe anything. Because I genuinely think I could take targeted harassment due to something I've done. Like, because then I know when I'm... It's like, well, I know when I'm right, and I know when you're wrong. And the reason that you're attacking me is ridiculous. So you're wrong. No, I just realized I wasted that, because I could actually have saved that for the next fight. Oh well. Or could I not have? Because I don't see that little extra bit. I don't know. Like, it's definitely just a lot more frustrating when it's like you're not even like you don't know better of something that you're being a dick, right? Like, you just, goodness sake, you're just doing it to do it. You're doing it for something to do. Focusing on his buddies a bit much, probably. Like, I'm sick of having to wonder if the person who I'm communicating with is saying anything genuinely, or if they're just like, you know, Poe's Law constantly, where it's just like, no, I'm just always trolling. There's no, like, consistent character because I don't have a psyche. Like, because it's like, you know, Twitch chat can be horrible, but a lot of that can be very entertaining. Like, if I had nothing but, like, Pepe laugh type, like, sarcastic Twitch chat type of things to deal with, then I'd be totally fine. And like, there was the one comment that I made a short out of. Goodness sake. And that was from ages ago, but piss off. I can't deal with everybody at the same time. Where it was like, it was very unjustified, but the reason it was funny was because it was unjustified. But a lot of the time, there's, like, TikTok comments where there's, goodness sake, buddy. Piss off. But there's just no point in responding to them. Where it's like, you know, it's just sort of a neutral comment where it's just like, I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but you're clearly, like, not providing anything with your comment. Or it's just like, I don't even know what you're talking about, and I couldn't decode what you were saying based off of, like, any information or knowledge known to me or Google. It's just like, I just Googled, like, a single word that you said that was just, like, gibberish. It's like, I'm out of the loop here, I don't know what you're talking about. Ooh, that was close. That's what I wanted to do. That was some really good damage. Okay. On to the next one. It's like, you know, TikTok comments, I've generally not even had, like, any trouble with them. TikTok comments on other people's videos I've definitely taken issue with to a degree. I knew I couldn't input that at that point because it was already a motion for him, and so I was going to lose it. Oh yeah. And I generally want the quality you know, you don't negotiate with terrorists. It's like, if somebody's gonna continue commenting no matter what, because they just want to, like, make you miserable and watch you kind of respond angrily because they didn't have good parental figures that didn't hug them enough or whatever. Mentally deficient type people. I genuinely do believe that is mental deficiency, like dark triad behavior. And I don't want to give any additional undue attention to somebody. It's just like, you know, you don't negotiate with terrorists. You don't give, you know, attention whores the attention that they want. Piss off. He was just barely out of that second hitbox, and he just perfectly knew where I was going. But it's like, this particular individual has created so many accounts that it's tough for me to actually, and you know, if there was a massive audience, obviously, then it's like, well, I'd be able to, it would just get lost in the chasm of infinite comments, you know? So it'd be really easy to not see it. Like, I've seen individual people on some channels. What is it doing? Oh crap. Is that okay. Finish off what I was saying, because I think let's just finish this final attempt here. But zoinks. It's like, I know he's gonna comment anyway, I know he's gonna create 1 billion accounts anyway, but it's like, I've looked for the type of deal where it's just like, okay, this account was clearly created yesterday, you know, this is clearly that type of activity, and if I can identify that it's him, then I just completely ignore it, because why would I give it additional attention if I know that there's no good that is going to possibly come out of it? When it becomes difficult to tell, yeah, I'm very, very much quitting to menu that. Goodness. I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to put a like longer stream on this this meme of the day here. This is a pretty good one. But it's like, I know I can't really stoop to the level. It's like, you know, if you respond, it's just going to get more of it. There's no purpose or benefit in really doing it. If perhaps only I can make content out of it, which is just like, yeah, you know, if I had enough of an audience that I would want to ramble about that, not necessarily just ramble, but to like make an entire video on like, hey, this is the targeted stalking / internet harassment that I've had to deal with, you know, petty in the sense that, you know, nothing really comes out of it except for just constant berating of me and digging into my internet history as much as possible and speculation and stuff where it's, you know, very obviously like not nice, not pleasant, but not the end of the world. It's just like when it becomes tough to actually know who it is, because like, well, I can clearly see that is who that is, and then it's just like, well, I can just like block you from the chat or hide this user from channel, super easy. And then it's like, it's like I've got multiple channels, I end up getting more comments on different channels, insane things like accusing me of murder for literally no reason whatsoever, like stuff like that. It's like, it's really easy to just hide user from channel. But then when I get like was it last stream? Last stream I had someone who was in the chat who was just behaving very erratically, and I didn't ban him, not yet, because I just didn't have any reason to believe that it was actually somebody doing it was actually malicious action. And it's like, if it's not malicious action, and I don't really associate it with the treatment I've been dealt with, and it, then it's not really a problem to me. But it's like that sort of thing where, especially if I can actually get a laugh out of it, instead of just ending up like just arguing with somebody who has a hard on for getting argued with. But like it gets to the point where it's like, well, this isn't a brand new account. Like I had a commenter recently, and it was like, it wasn't a brand new account. So I was like, sure, whatever. And it was like just asking me about my sexuality, and I'm like, okay, like, just because you asked, I suppose I'll answer to whatever degree, especially considering that it was just coming from an angle where it was just like, no, like, I'm not like that, like, you don't really understand. So it's like, responding to it is like, yeah, I don't know if anybody else sees it, and then they see it, and they're like, okay, yeah, no, that's a question that I had, that I now have answered, or something like that. No big deal. But then it just ends up being like multiple other questions of just like all of a sexually charged manner in it, and it's just like, I literally said, chill with the sexually charged comments, the hell is wrong with you? And then it's like implying that I don't know, it seemed like a show of the hand, where it was that classic treatment that I was used to, of like posting multiple comments, or multiple sending multiple messages, where it's just like, hey, I have a question, and then just like, not like, that was the first thing that I had to deal with. And of course he's impersonating me on Discord, as we speak, and it's just like, ugh, it's just obnoxious. But it's like the thing was just like implying that I had flirted with this individual, which was not the case. I didn't flirt with anybody in my chat. I don't think I've ever done so before. Like maybe ages and ages ago, I had someone who I knew IRL in the chat who I was romantically involved with, but it's like, I didn't respond. Like, you posted to my comment section asking me a sexually charged question first, and I just responded because I wanted to clear up a misunderstanding that seemed to be had. Maybe not even necessarily the fault of anybody who asked that question, but just sort of environmental factors, But it was like, I don't want to have to deal with, interacting a couple of times and then seeing just a billion other comments where it's like, I think maybe due to the amount of times that he checked the stupid video, that like it increased the traction of the video. But it just gets obnoxious, obviously, to have to decode every single time I get a new chatter where it's just like, oh, it says it's AQ Crime Watch. It's like, it says that. Is it the person who also has shockingly similar characters, It's just it's just like, as long as the comments aren't like hostile or obnoxious, and I know that if they get obnoxious, then they will eventually get hostile, and then it's just going to be like, oh, now I have another thing to go post on Reddit about, where it's like, the last time I truly responded, when I knew who I was responding to, was kind of this Hail Mary attempt of like, leave me alone. And then it just ends up like, I don't know. There's a massive like low IQ tendency with this individual to assume that sort of the screenshots that he takes, edited or otherwise, actually are like indicative of something, where it's like, if you just take it relatively within or without context, I provide enough context in my comment to actually show what has happened, and people are not going to really catch on to your twisting of things, especially when it's just like this is just so controversial. Ravenclaw the Dragon, he did this, and it's so she did this, it's so controversial. It's just like, I don't think you're being like bigoted in any sort of a sense where you're trying to judge me for some inalienable characteristic of some kind. Inalienable, immutable. But it's like, you are targeting me, and you just use that as one of the things because that's what bullies do. Bullying someone for being, for having a certain sexuality or having certain behavior or whatever, isn't always necessarily due to a bigotry towards that. It's just, it's clearly something that I can use against you in order to make you feel the way that I want to make you feel. Like, it's just stupid, because it's like, I just want to, when someone's in the chat, I want to be able to respond to someone who's in the chat who's actually saying something because they want to interact with me. Ichi knows. And not because like they want to just get a rise out of me for whatever reason. It's just like, it's just not worth my time. And if you want me to respond to every single thing that you comment, then you're gonna have to pay me. It's like, you are not, you're not entitled to my like, to the like emotional work that it takes to decode the retardation that you post like every 2 seconds. It's just like, no, like, pay me. Actually, like, right down there in the Twitch, just there's a donate button. Hit that, and it's like, I don't know, until like whatever amount, I don't know. I'll take anything. Relatively low donations. And then I'll respond to them, and then I'll ramble about them. But otherwise, it's like the only thing that I really can afford to do, I suppose, time-wise, emotional-wise. It's just like, I got a life. I don't have time to just sit here all day when there's nothing but negativity that can come out of it. It's just like, hey, comparative advantage here. Like, there's no benefit, like next to no benefit for me making a stink out of your retardation. So it's like, unless you make it more beneficial to me by actually giving me some sort of an incentive, then you are going to get ignored until you hopefully go away. It's just, I'm just frustrated. I'm kind of sick of having to wonder every single time that I see a comment that it's gonna be somebody who just has a hate boner. And it's not even that either, because like, if I had somebody who was like stalking my channel, multiple people who were brigading my channel, then it's like, I don't know, I think I'd have more, I'd stand to earn more doing that, because it's like, I haven't really done anything wrong. It's like, if I had someone who specifically like hated some sort of a thing that I said on a draconian discourse, or like that I posted on Twitter or something like that, it's like, I would actually stand to gain more from being brigaded in that sense, because it would increase my interactions, and it would give me more comments, which puts you up in the algorithm and whatnot. It's like, it'd be fine, and at least then I'd know that I'd be dealing with people who are coming there, not even necessarily in good faith, but with the intention of actually having a discussion, or at least with the intention of saying what they believe. But when there's nothing about a belief at all, and all it is just trying to gauge interactions, it's like, I can only really have the the only thing I stand to gain is additional interaction. And it's like, you know, whatever, like I did get a decent amount of interaction in many ways, but it's like, is that so worth it as to have somebody who's just being ridiculous in the comments, you know? Well, it's like, rather not have to deal with this day in and day out. But and obviously that makes it significantly less less of a priority to be wanting to be streaming all the time, especially when streaming already involves a certain amount of work and effort and whatnot. It's just like, you know, how am I gonna drudge up like the motivation to you know, complete this difficult challenge in FNAF 2 when I also know that there's going to be some idiot in the chat who just cannot leave me alone. Just like that's all I want. It's like, you know, just leave me alone. Like, let me have fun. You know, it's like the entire purpose of streaming is to interact with people who the entire purpose of streaming is to interact with people who actually like want to interact with you and don't just want to like I don't know, like I don't want to be too hyperbolic. It's like, it's not like he wants me dead or anything. It's just like he wants what's the word? Negative attention. He wants the feeling, the satisfaction that he's made somebody else miserable, and it's just like, well, no, I'm, you know, not dumb enough to play that game continually. Like, I'm good. Because it's like, I think I've only ever made like tweets or interacted or whatever every once in a while, and I haven't responded in any public fashion in ages. But it really does get obnoxious when it's like, you know, any activity. I can't just have my Twitter, and I'd be perfectly fine with being brigaded on Twitter. People do that all the time. They'll team up and they'll retweet and they'll say, I don't know, you're transphobic, or you're I don't know, whatever. Just because there's a certain disagreement about this, that, and the other. It's just like, you know, whatever, right? But when it ends up being someone who, it's like, I don't know, it makes me think that I would get doxxed otherwise. You know, it's like if there wasn't some kind of, if there wasn't that, like, if there was, like, that's just the logical extent of it all, isn't it? It's like, I want to make this person as miserable as possible, because like it would make me happy to do so. And it's just like, you know, I'm not like I'm pretty mentally well, honestly. But it's the type of thing where it's like, I really do believe that you would actually be happy if you saw one of the people who you target, like if you found out that they actually killed themselves or something, like you would actually, that would just make your entire day, make your week. And it's like, yeah, this is part of the reason why I said, you know, the world would be a better place if you were not alive, because you're a net negative on society. It's like you don't provide anything positive to anybody, and you only provide negative things. Now it's like, you know, in real life, if you actually go and you work a job and you're neutral to positive with every single person that you interact with in real life, then it's like, you know, I think that you would still be losing in that case. It's just like, just stop using the internet. Like, that's it. Stop using the internet to like be a sociopath to like everybody. It's like, just don't you have literally anything better to do than to create hundreds of accounts, like impersonating people or just in other forms of harassment? It's like, you have literally nothing better to do you? Like, it's pathetic. Because it takes hours. It would actually take hours to have that many. I have 70 alternative accounts. It would actually take hours to do. So it's like, why? Like, what is actually the point? especially when you're not actually providing anything. It's like all of that effort that you put into that could have been put into something. It's like, what do you have to show for it? Like a couple of people who don't have much notoriety think you're a prick and or a pedo because of the targeted harassment that you've done that's been so overboard, where you've been essentially sexually harassing people, and then you take their characters that are canonically like minors or whatever, or whatever it was, and it's like you just Photoshop that into like pornography, and it's like now everybody's gonna call you a pedo, and now you have to like backpedal and stuff. It's just like, this is pathetic. Like, this is just flat out pathetic. But it's obnoxious. And obviously I don't want to give it more attention than it deserves, but just one of those things that's just been just recently on my mind, where it's just like, when I've known that you were when I've known that it was this prick, then I've been able to say, okay, yep, I'm hiding those comments so I don't have to deal with them. Goodbye, you know. But then, you know, I don't get to have a public Twitter, because then I'm going to be, you know, people are not going to be able to tell the difference between me and the slanderous things said in my image, and I have no way of dealing with that, taking it down or anything. It's like, and it's just great that one of the greatest artists, the first artist that I commissioned, Catastropica's Pikachu, that her art has to be associated with my brand that is being slandered and impersonated and whatnot. It's rubbish. I would so much rather have, you know, generally just despicable people who have a bone to pick because they actually have a reason to believe that, than somebody who just has literally no reason but like some sort of insane issue. But I've rambled long enough. I've spent like months not talking about it or mentioning on stream. But it's like, all I want is interaction that is not just extremely negative. Is like, you know, the biggest fan that I have just is someone who wants to annoy me as much as possible. It's like, is it really a good use of your time? Like, get a job. Because it's like, I'm so busy, like I don't have time to just deal with that. Don't have the mental energy to deal with it. It's just gonna be a lot more happier. Excellent grammar. I'd be much happier just doing my own thing. Like, I'd rather have you know, back-to-back endless no viewer streams than to have, like, you know, just constant chat messages from some prick, you know? Because I don't think I've ever had anybody else, because I've had individual people who've like disagreed with certain videos that I've made, and left a comment because of that. I've had people, I don't even think I've ever had people in the streams who've like said awful things to me in any sort of real way. Like, it's just never happened before. I don't know. Just unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. I wish Show was still around. I wish I had everything I had today with with Show, because then I'd actually be making like income through this. You know, that's unfortunate the way that things turn out, but you know, is it fortunate? Is it unfortunate? We'll see, as a Chinese proverb states. Anyhow, should be all for the rambling today. We shall be live one day in the future. Like, I don't know.